as well.
We're back. We're back. No overlong intro this time.
Yeah, man. Don't always have to be that way.
No, you got to keep the people guessing.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I don't think it's been that long, but it feels like it's been a while. You're listening to the Infinite Scale podcast. Joining me as always, Chris Crossley. Of course, I'm William Chandler. We are hot off the heels of playing something that I think we both want to talk about, but before we get to the video game portion of the video game podcast, you assigned some homework for me.
I did
last week, and I feel like we should just tackle that up at the top here.
For sure, let's do it. You know, it's been a good it's a good time to be Pedro Pascal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's having a moment.
I feel like he's like really in the spotlight at the here lately.
Yes. Yeah. He's hot right now.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps calling him daddy to his face.
Yeah, the daddy meme. Yeah.
Which is like uncomfortable, but also, I mean, I get it. I hope I hope he's not like upset by it.
No, from what I understand, he's like well, I don't know if he's upset or not, but just that he is like he seems really with it with the memes at least. So I'm sure he thinks it's kind of funny in a sense, but yeah, I'm sure then it gets annoying at some point, you know.
Yeah, everything gets old. I mean, he seems okay with it. Like he's not like actively repulsed anyway.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, he's having hot moments. So the homework assignment was for me to make a fan cam of Pedro Pascal. No. We watched we watched season 3 of The Mandalorian. What's out right now so far.
And so remind me.
What
have you watched the other Mandalorian stuff, or not all of it, or kind of, or
yeah, I was keeping up with it relatively on pace with its release.
Because a lot happens in between season 2 and 3, you know,
in the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah,
right, like a copious amount of Mandalorian content happens in there.
Yeah, which it turns out I did watch.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I say that. I think I did not watch the last episode. I think I got up to where Cad Bane shows up, and I was like, I didn't watch the Clone Wars, so I'm gonna just back away slowly from this, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I used to think I was a really big Star Wars fan because I, like, in high school, read all the books and played all the games and knew like so much of the extended universe lore, but they've been delving more and more into the time periods of Star Wars that I do not have any affinity for. So like Clone Wars related stuff, like
it's all the Filoni influence.
It is.
Yeah,
Dave Filoni's grubby mitts continue to infest Star Wars to this day. Yeah, I think Rebels is related, right? Also Bad Batch in some way.
Right.
Bad Batch stuff in these new... I don't know. Did you watch Clone Wars? Were you like a Clone Wars guy?
No. I watched the newest season when they released that, and it had some cool moments.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what happens.
Not really.
So the newest season of that Clone Wars, when they like brought it back and did like one final season, it's essentially the season where Order 66 finally happens. So you get to see it from like Ahsoka's perspective, that main clone that I forget his name now.
Commander Cody.
Yeah, no. That's funny though. That's the one for Obi-Wan. But yeah, whatever the guy Rex, I think.
Rex is right.
Like with them the whole time. You get to see what happens to him for Order 60. Like it's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but other than that, I didn't watch Clone Wars at all. I've never watched Rebels or like Children of the Resistance or whatever the fuck any other shit. I don't know if that's even a real thing, but you know, whatever else they've done, I haven't watched any of that.
Bad Batch.
No, I haven't watched Bad Batch. But Bad Batch, they make their first appearance in the season I'm talking about, and they were hands down some of the best characters in that season.
Okay.
And they were so cool they made a whole show about them. So
okay.
I have been mildly interested in Bad Batch. It's just the animation style just does not speak to me for Clone Wars and all that other stuff in Bad Batch. Like it just doesn't resonate with me very hard. So I just
and it sounds like
innately turned off to it.
People are not thrilled with Bad Batch from what I understand.
Cool. I'm glad I didn't watch them.
It's like it's all right. That kind of thing. So with all that said, I'm okay with The Mandalorian. I thought season 1 was better than I definitely thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think season 2 was higher quality, but certainly less interesting because we'd kind of seen the style of the show already. Like we felt it through season 1. So season 2 had probably higher highs than season 1, but overall, I think it was kind of more of the same, which didn't interest me as much. I believe that was when Ahsoka showed up the first time.
Yeah, Ahsoka shows up, and then I think Boba slowly comes into the picture as well throughout that season, and then Luke at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that stuff interests me less and less in Star Wars media. I think that's what makes Andor so good, is that it doesn't really rely on any of those tricks.
Yep.
So season 3, you asked me to watch one particular episode because it was a standalone episode, but I'm a sicko and I cannot do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I watched the first 2. What's your feeling so far on just kind of the regular stuff? Like first 2 episodes, what do you think?
Okay. Well, at the time of episode 1, I was like not very excited because it kind of felt like the whole they were setting up what the season was going to be about.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't very interested in like a season about his redemption, I guess. Like, even though I knew it would be more about like the things that happen along the way, and I was like, you know, interested in whatever that was going to be, I was still just like, do we really, like, do you actually care about this still? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. And it's just like, okay. So he goes and then immediately meets with Bo-Katan, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then she, I don't know, just like the bouncing back and forth between like what their idea of like a Mandalorian is, and then I was like, okay, well, so maybe, you know, this, I was slightly more interested then, and then so that's how episode 1 ends, and then immediately into episode 2 he is going to the planet and doing the thing, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, so we're just like doing it. I thought he was gonna like go on other side quests before he actually goes to do the thing. And so yeah, he's going and he's doing it, and all of this I like a lot. Him going to Mandalore, them actually touching down, they don't fuck around there too long, they immediately find out the air's fine and he goes, and then they go deep down. Them going deep down is really fucking cool. Him like explaining all the stuff to Grogu, and then them getting down there and like the creepy fucking robot thing that like traps him, like whatever the fuck that was really well designed and just cool.
I agree.
And then flip to Grogu going back, which I don't know, I don't fully like think they've nailed Grogu feeling actually capable. Like I feel like at all times he is at risk, but in reality, he is like probably the most dangerous thing on the protagonist's like side right now. So it's just like, I don't know. It's always weird seeing Grogu now in this season, like doing things. It's just weird to me.
Sure.
But otherwise, him going back to Bo-Katan and then them going through the planet together and her explaining like her, like, I guess, idea of like what a Mandalorian is and or like her history with the planet too. And then them going through together was just a really cool parallel to just have seen it with Grogu and other guy, Din Djarin.
Yeah.
I forget if it's Jin or Din, but whatever. Anyway.
Din Djarin. Yeah.
Din Djarin. And then they get down there and, you know, get out. That was all really cool. And then how it ends and getting to see the Mythosaur for the first time was really cool. But all that being said, I'm just happy the whole season wasn't about getting to these waters and going down. I'm glad they're just like getting that out of the way. And I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. And then episode 3 was just a total unexpected, you know, side quest that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think just to kind of give some general feelings here, I mean, the pace at which they move things now is just lightning fucking fast. I mean, it is like Star Wars prequels level of people are just traveling all over the galaxy at the snap of a finger.
Right.
There is absolutely no time lag whatsoever. It is the final season of Game of Thrones. Like they've decided that everything is within, like, you know, 12 feet of each other. Which I think is pretty interesting for the show, because the show, especially in season 1, was very much slow. It was a very like slow moving show. Multiple episodes would take place before, like, just trying to accomplish one objective or something like that, you know, in many cases. It felt, I mean, people back then used to call it a Western, right? It felt like a Western. It was very like traveling and the dangers associated with traveling and lots of things like that were, I don't want to say the point, but it was definitely a big focus, right?
Yeah.
I do think that, I don't know, I'm fine with them moving everything quickly, but it does feel like they're just like, let's fucking see this shit through now, you know? So yeah, I mean, I like that they're focused on bringing back characters. I could not remember if Carl Weathers was in season 2. I don't know why. I just could not remember.
Oh, he's in season 1 for sure. I can't remember if they revisited him in season 2 or not as well.
I know. Yeah, they're focused on really bringing back a lot of characters, which is interesting. They hand wave away Gina Carano's disappearance, which is pretty interesting.
That was so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, there's stuff happening for sure. I like that. I don't know if you were like a Star Wars lore person before all this Disney stuff started happening, but
yes,
Mandalore was not a planet, right? Or am I misremembering? I remember
it was and it wasn't. Like it did. I think didn't they like? And I genuinely don't remember, just to start, but I feel like it didn't start as a planet, but then they like claimed a planet and like maybe renamed it Mandalore, or it's like
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Just like sort of dubbed Mandalore as like almost like a slang, like people just ended up calling it that even though it had a real name or something like that. I feel like where they like kind of took one for themselves, but I can't remember now.
Yeah, I mean, it was, see, all of my like feelings about Mandalore were always very like Old Republic kind of stuff, like all of the war, like the destruction of the planet of Mandalore was, or whatever home planet the Mandalorians had back then, whatever it was called.
It's like their home base planet.
Yeah, basically something that really happened like thousands of years ago was my memory of it. It was like an Old Republic thing. It was like when the Yuuzhan Vong, like the bug people, came
Well,
And
there's isn't that kind of what they reference a little bit at some, I can't remember when they reference it, but they talk about how like the original Mandalorians fought with the Jedi and the Old Republic like forever ago. And then what happened to the planet in more recent history was like the Empire deciding that the Mandalorians were going to be a problem.
so
And so like
bomb
after
the shit out of it. Yeah.
right, so after Order 66 and shit takes a turn because you meet Bo-Katan, quote unquote meet Bo-Katan and all the other like Mandalore characters in the like animated series.
Yeah.
So that means it had to be when the Republic was still around. So I'm imagining all those bombings we saw flashbacks of throughout the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to have happened in Empire time, and they were like, "Yeah, fuck those guys."
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I imagine. I don't know if that's like concrete
Okay.
in the new canon or what, but yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the problem is once Disney decided to throw stuff out selectively, I don't know what's still valid and not. Like the Yuuzhan Vong, was that still a thing? I don't know. Anyway, okay, but so it's weird that because I guess other than in the Clone Wars, I think they go to Mandalore at some point.
Yeah,
cartoon?
a bunch. Yeah, because Obi-Wan has a love interest there and
Okay.
all sorts of stuff. Yeah, they go to Mandalore a lot. In the animated series, yeah.
So they go to Mandalore, but other than I think that, I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of stuff visually there, right? So I feel like this is one of the only views we've gotten of it, other than like the flashback scenes and anything that happens in the Clone Wars. So that's pretty much been it. So it's interesting to see it like this, to see it like really wrecked. And like, I don't know. I think I'm okay with what they're doing lore wise, but it is a little funny. Just, I don't know how quickly they're willing to like tie this one off. Like they show up, they're like, all right, it's not cursed. Okay, and also the ancient creature that is our logo is real. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like all in the same episode, which is pretty fun.
that I agree with, especially that first part. I can't believe nobody came and checked the air quality sooner.
I know.
But it's at least for the where Din Djarin comes from, and they like are really like religious and cultist about it, and they really believed it was like cursed. So like them, I kind of get it. Bo-Katan, I don't know how she hadn't like gone and verified it sooner, but just whatever.
Checked it out,
yeah.
Anyway, yes. So Bo-Katan stuff is all cool. I think the first two episodes are interesting, but they're definitely rushing through stuff.
Right.
More interestingly, I agree, is the third episode where they basically spend majority of the time away from the main characters, outside of a kind of brief ending and beginning section.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes with them, a whole hour without them, and then 5 minutes with them again. It's like, okay, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't help but wonder where they're going with this, because like, I think, so it's like Andor in the sense that like, they're spending a lot of time with just regular, finger quotes, regular people, right?
It's very grounded. Yeah,
like
you're down on the floor with the normies in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, like let's see what the populace is up to, which I think is really cool. It takes place in Coruscant, which was hugely surprising.
That was cool, yeah.
And then it cuts to, disgraced Nazi scientist giving speech about why he should be working for the Allies now.
I thought I was doing good for the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I was just doing what I knew.
I was just trying to clone Palpatine. My mother.
I think the speech falls flat a little bit, or
for sure.
I mean, the meaning or what they're trying to reference falls flat a bit, because he seems to genuinely mean it.
Well, it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
It does. The further it goes on, the more I believe him, which
Yeah.
I think is intentional. They want us to doubt him, I think, at
Up
first
front.
until yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because he does like the ear thing during the speech, and it's like okay, and I think he says
Yeah.
that right after he's like, I just wanted to do some good, does the ear
Yeah.
thing, and then later on, the only other time he does the ear thing is when you feel like he wants to lie to the robot, asking if he's like content or not, and I'm like, okay, so what's the deal here, bro? But then, yeah, as it goes on, you do really get the feeling he just really believes in his research and the
Yeah.
good it can do. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
There's a lot going
Either
on.
way.
So
Right.
it opens with like a Coruscant, like shots of Coruscant, which is nice to see it again.
Yes.
Because you realize that other than what the prequels and like any of the cartoons, I mean, this is the first time we've seen like a live action Coruscant, I think.
Oh yeah, since the movies.
None of the newer movies have had Coruscant in it. None of the Rey movies, right?
Yeah. No, not that I can think of.
Anyway, so it was nice to see it again.
Yeah.
And they spend time with the Doctor from season 1. I don't remember if he showed up in season 2, to be honest. The Doctor character who was experimenting on Grogu at the behest of Werner Herzog. They spend time with him and his new life in the New Republic, now with the fall of the Empire, after being rehabilitated and released into society on a program that they call... What was it?
Oh, I forget what the program's called. It's basically just like a rehabilitation thing, though.
Yeah, for like former Empire believers, basically. Like they've like reversed their indoctrination, I guess.
Yeah, basically, it's like
amnesty,
helping people reacclimate to like I guess, I don't know, society.
I think they called it the amnesty program.
It's something like that. Yeah, I can't remember now.
It was cool. I've seen a lot of mixed feelings about it.
Really?
Online, like especially amongst like the mouth breathing Star Wars fans. Like people, like basically you're one of two people. I mean, obviously it's a generalization, but just roll with it. You're one of two people. You either want to see Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett flying around and fucking doing shit and kicking ass, or you want new stuff to be interested in. And the Amnesty episode, the episode 3, is the most new stuff you've seen in Star Wars other than like Andor, right? Like the most like new world building, new lore, unrelated to anything else. It's literally just like, here's what's happening after the fall of the Empire at Coruscant. And like, I love the little details. Like, I mean, none of it's as well written as Andor, but like after the Doctor gets done giving his speech at the beginning about the good that cloning research could do for the New Republic, there's like all those nobles and rich people being like,
I can hardly tell the difference between this, that, the good, the bad. Oh, it's all the same to me. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm still rich. I don't care who's in charge. You know, whatever. Yeah. Weird stuff. I really liked it, and it sounds like you did too.
Oh yeah, very much.
I think
feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, so basically the plot of the episode kind of concerns itself with this guy reintegrating into society. They give him like a shitty low-level science job that is just like archival work, and he's basically put into an apartment complex with other former Empire people.
Also interesting that they're just given like a number, you know. It's super weird how they kind of treat them. It's just like, you're like L23, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking about that,
looking strange.
Was that because the Empire gave people numbers, and so they're just trying to keep them?
But he had a name. He was like,
yeah, he did. Yeah,
Professor, Doctor, Mister, whatever the fuck, Pistachio, and then when they're at the table, it's like all four of them, they're like addressing each other by their numbers. He's like, what about you, L23? Like, and I don't know. They did that a few other times. When he's at work, the dude who keeps passing by and is like, it's Mongo Day, and he's like, yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, don't fucking worry about that L23. Like, it's never gonna happen. And I was like, okay. I don't know. It's just weird how they did that. But I think it's just them going to show, just how kind of fucked it is. The whole just situation, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like the detail of it, that I guess they're dehumanizing them in some way. Just like how the Empire would, but it was pretty funny because I don't know, like there's got to be an easier way to identify them, right? I mean, it's not even a convenient numbering system. What do the letters? Exactly. What do the letters mean? Like, what's even the point?
Let's give them names. I don't know. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
If they don't have one, let's give them one. If they have one, let's use that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's pretty interesting.
But I do think it is just to sort of frame how, like, the New Republic is just going to fuck it all up, and how, the First Order is actually going to come into power even after the Empire lost. It's just like the New Republic was not exactly handling things well, and especially how we see at the end. Even it's just like clearly they are not doing a good job. Like they and the irony, I'm going to skip forward a little bit, but just the irony, and I mean it's all intentional, of course, but when the dude's like, it's so nice to know that every time we have a failure, we have a success, like you. But she's the failure and he's the success, and because they're so fucking stupid,
they can't see it.
It's just all going to get fucked, like, even further, because they can't even tell that they're being manipulated by the failures. It's all going to crumble from the inside.
Yeah, I mean I think that's always been the thing. Like, the prequels tried really hard to show the failure of the Republic as a concept. Like, I mean, it basically it follows the fall of any civilization to legally electing a dictator, right? I mean, that was what the prequels were all about. I think it's easy to see how that stuff can repeat itself when you have a bunch of people who are not actually that interested in making things better. But I think what's really funny is I was looking after I saw this episode after it aired, and I was like, man, I want to see how people feel about this. I want to double check. I think it is the lowest rated episode of this season so far. Yeah, it is.
That's wild.
It is. I think it's just people.
Because I think it's really good. Even the other stuff, how it's called The Convert.
Yeah.
And that double meaning of it being, in my opinion, about the guy that we're following most of the episode, and about Bo-Katan, and how it sort of like ties that loop at the end, and is sort of like making her, and I'm assuming also Din Djarin, they're both going to be reevaluating what it means to be a Mandalorian, and I'm hoping come at this middle ground and, like, I don't know, really bring the Mandalorian people together and hopefully be this cool thing in the lore that exists now.
Yeah.
As something new that, like, makes sense. And I don't know. Hopefully we'll see. But I love this episode as a whole. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
I can't believe it would be the lowest rated of the season, especially this season where, like, the first two episodes, like, are kind of all over the place and a mess. I like episode 2, but even then it is just kind of like you were saying, rushing through a bunch of stuff. Pacing is kind of weird.
Yeah, the people, I mean, if you just look at the IMDb reviews, like I relate to the people who have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
But people who actively dislike it seem to me very, I don't know. I think they might be stupid. I'm sorry. I think they might be. I like. It's like Marvel fans. Like just the way people. Like let me just give you this blurb here. After two rather weak episodes, the third one is not the big banger we hope to get. Instead, it turns away from the main storyline, which could have been working, but it did not. Doesn't even make. It's not even a full thought. That's me talking now. Back to this. The story is just boring and makes no sense. After finishing the last episode in the first 10 minutes, they turn away from Mando and focus on the scientist we know from earlier episodes. I like to see him again, but I have to admit that it is nothing that overwhelms me. I don't know. It's just like, sorry, now I'm talking again. It's just, and then he complains about idiotic plot twists and things, and I'm just like, man, like, is it hard to just sit back and enjoy something for a second? What kind of what do you need? What do you need as a person to derive sustenance from this? You want Boba Fett back? You want the Mandalorian shooting things? Like, what do you? I mean, Star Wars fans are the weirdest group of people because I feel like some of us are like, we like the political drama and the intrigue, and like also fucking laser swords are cool as hell, you know. But then there's some people who are just like, I don't know. I huffed paint for too many years in a row, and now only things I'm already familiar with tickle my brain the right way. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll just wrap this up really quickly. I think you know, you kind of follow the storyline of this doctor guy as he goes through his rehabilitation. You can see he's like having difficulty adjusting just because, I mean, whatever, he lived in the middle of nowhere doing weird Nazi research for a long time. Like I guess it would make it difficult to reintegrate into normal society. But what's really interesting is it's also you run into one of the other kind of focuses of the episode, which is Gideon, Moff Gideon's like second in command. She was, I think, she was like one of his officers at the very least. I think they call her a comms officer at some point. And okay, so she's here, and I'm immediately remembering, and I'm like, I remember her being just like unapologetically evil.
Yeah.
But they spend a lot of time making her seem like she's very well adjusted.
Yeah, and I also, it's like looking back, it's interesting how she like is like, I don't know, like just manipulating him. Like back when they're at the, like, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. It's like a fair or a festival or something, and they're like eating the glowing ice cream and go up to the rock, which is cool, by the way. Getting to see the tip of the mountain, like that was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then how she's like, you know, just go and touch it, it's fine. And then, you know, he does, and the thing happens, but it's like her prepping him, like, see, it's okay. Like, nothing's going to happen if you just, like, fuck around a little bit. Like, nobody's going to...
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody's going to get you. Like, it's okay.
It's the Republic.
We're not the Empire.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then immediately, like, it's just, like, feeding him down the path of something much more serious. But... Yeah, it's all really well done because, yeah, it's kind of like how I mentioned earlier, how I was sort of doubting him. I definitely wasn't doubting her, like, until they were kind of going, and I was like, well, something's going to happen here. So I'm guessing they're just going to drop the ball and get caught, or she's going to betray him. That was just kind of what was going through my head.
It seemed like one of them was going to betray the other one at some point, but it was hard to tell who. But I think I was more suspicious of her just because I remember her being really evil. I actually didn't
remember her until I like was going back and like looking into her after I watched it. I didn't remember her at all. Yeah. She did not stick to my memory, but
yeah.
So how do you feel about how it all played out?
So I mean, basically she kind of plants a bug in his ear that his research could be good for the Republic and convinces him that he should continue it. He agrees. He feels increasingly like disaffected by the work he does on a day-to-day basis and needs something a little bit more fulfilling. So they break into like an Imperial junkyard to get some science equipment that he can use to continue his research. And then the cops show up and arrest him, and basically she was tricking him the whole time.
You know what my first thought was too when she like turns around, grabs the case, and it's like, it was me. My first thought is like it was like a test. By like the Republic to see if people will take the bait.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool actually. Like you're not supposed to take the bait, even if someone's telling you it's like a good thing.
Yeah.
But then the immediate next scene, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. They she devised the whole thing for some reason. That's the thing, is that we have no real motive at this stage for her, so I think that's kind of the weirdest part. But the episode is really propped up more by the world building and seeing what the Republic is like right now, rather than the individual plot of the episode at this stage. Like the plot is fine, but it's really just everything around it, like just seeing normal ass people do normal ass shit in Star Wars. Is really the interesting part. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's cool. It definitely won me over a little bit in terms of wanting to see like how the rest of the Mandalorian season 3 goes, because it shows that like they're learning. They're willing to try interesting stuff. They're learning like modern TV is not totally ruining Star Wars at this state. Like there's like they could try to do a little bit more than just have like a sci-fi original TV show with a Star Wars flavor. They're trying to do something prestige TV-esque like The Last of Us, how it had like that, the Bill episode. Like just random stuff like that is nice to see. Yeah. Speaking of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
How'd you feel?
Pretty good. What do you remember what we've talked about? About the show?
I don't.
I don't either.
But I think I mean the gist of it, I'll tell you two things we didn't talk about were basically the last two episodes.
Okay.
And to me, those were the ones that I was looking forward to. I mean, I wasn't sure what was going to fall in what episode, until it got really near the end. But I think all of the stuff that happens in the last two episodes to me is the stuff in the games that I found the most interesting. Overall.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
so
for sure. I was excited to see how they did it.
It was funny seeing Troy Baker's face.
Yeah, I think he did a great job too. I don't think I've ever seen him live action act, and yeah, that was fun for me. I enjoyed that. Yeah. I know he doesn't like necessarily plan on doing that a lot, but that was I wouldn't mind if he did. Honestly, I feel like it's cool to see him like look like shit and play this non-main super pro-taggy character, even though he's done that in a lot of different ways. It was just cool to see him in a role and still get a lot of time, and then getting fucking cleave to the neck. That was all dope.
Yep.
I liked it. Yep.
Yeah, it was a shame we didn't get Nolan North live action. That would have been pretty funny. But
that would have been cool.
No, I think he was cool. David, right, was the main bad guy.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They fleshed him out a little bit more, made him a lot creepier.
I didn't really remember his part of the game very much until they're like that final bit where it's like all burning down and stuff, and I even remember it like ends a little differently, where Joel kind of pulls Ellie off of him, and instead in this film Ellie just goes for who knows how long and then walks out on her own. I really liked that whole episode. I love I can't remember if this is that same episode. I'm almost positive it is though. The moment of like Joel is like still out of it in that house laying down, but like he at least got Ellie's message to like be slightly alert and just like here's the guy making it inside.
Yep.
And then just that whole moment of like, I don't know, it just it's to me, and maybe I'm just like seeing what I want to see, but it was very well acted that I like believed that Joel had his one shot. Like normally Joel could take out a dude and it not be a problem, but he is very weakened right now. He has one shot to get a good fucking like strike on this guy and like really take him out. And if he doesn't, maybe the guy will fucking get an advantage on him because Joel is not at his prime at the moment. And I don't know, just I really, it's all like kind of quick how it happens, but just how it's done, I don't know. It was really good. I liked that moment. And then Joel doing the map moment, which I'm pretty sure is from the game too. I could be wrong. Maybe I made that up in my head. But
no, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole shit was like just great, fucking awesome. Like it's so crazy how different Pedro Pascal and Troy Baker's Joel is really, like in terms of like just kind of like the tone of their voice and how they talk and sort of act out any particular scene. It is interesting how different they are, but how much I like both, I guess. Like it doesn't bother me that like Pedro's like delivery is like a little more like consistently what's the word? Almost like emotionless, I guess. Like I feel like he's a little bit colder than Troy Baker's Joel. Joel from the game seems like do you know what I mean? Like it seems like Pedro plays it a little more cold.
I guess he's just more neutral. Like I felt like Troy Baker's Joel was a lot grumpier. So maybe in the sense that like Troy Baker's Joel was like very hot, whereas Pedro Pascal's is more cold.
Like cold and like like you were saying,
disaffected, I guess.
Yeah, desensitized to a lot. He's just like going through the motions. Anyway, yeah, I liked all of that, and then the final episode. How do you feel about how they did it all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to take. I don't know. So you definitely don't have the same level of attachment to these characters over like 9 episodes of a TV show that you do after like 10 hours of a video game, right?
Right.
So I think that's something that's like kind of worth considering, I guess, which is that like if I was just a TV show viewer, maybe I would like the show a lot. It's hard to say, but having the context that we have from the game makes everything make a little bit more sense, even though it feels like they rushed through a lot of character development with Joel and Ellie specifically.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but I do think the last episode still really works. I mean, they did a good job of shooting it. I really hated the music. I saw some people saying they really liked the music in the last episode. I really hated it. I thought it detracted.
Like when he's going through the killing spree, basically.
Yep.
And it's playing that rendition of the main theme.
Yeah, like I hated it.
I guess I'm in the middle about it. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like, oh hell yeah. I was just like, huh.
I don't know. To me it was like, and this happened a lot in this show. There were moments where I was just like, how is the video game more subtle than this? Like how did you fuck this up this bad? Like they made everything over dramatic. They really wanted to drive the message home. Hey, this is a sad thing that's happening right now. Instead of in the game where you're like, damn, this is fucked up, but I don't need music to tell me it. You know what I mean? Like it's fucked up that he's doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was weird. There were a lot of moments like that in the show where they were just over explaining things that didn't really need to be explained. Through visual language or literal dialogue, like explaining things, like Marlene in the first couple of episodes. I will say this, I liked the addition of Marlene and Ellie's mom's backstory.
Yeah, for sure. That was really nice.
Cool. And I think that was something, like I read an interview where Neil Druckmann from Naughty Dog said that he wanted to do that in the game, but it got cut.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty cool way to inject that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was like totally new, I think they did really well, and all the stuff that was like the same as the game but slightly different was worse, in my opinion. So like,
I guess it depends on what you
music,
mean. Because they're okay.
pretty much everything that was the same as the game but slightly worse. Like, I mean,
Well, because I feel like the end is basically the same but slightly different, but I like it more in the show. I feel
how?
like the nuance of Ellie's reaction to what Joel is saying
Oh, really?
is a lot more like I can actually tell how Ellie feels when I watch the show compared to like when the game ended. I got a completely different read than what they were actually intending.
Oh, really? I felt like in the game it was intentionally ambiguous, which I enjoyed.
No, apparently it wasn't supposed to be like that.
What do you mean? Really?
Yeah, I was listening to some podcast recently with Neil talking about it because they asked him like because they got the same vibe that it was like more apparent what Ellie felt at the end of the show, and Neil said, "Yeah, that was our goal. It was just kind of we left it up to the performance. Like I forget the name of homegirl that did Ellie in the game, but
Ashley Johnson. Yeah.
yes, she performed it that way, and Neil was okay with that. But the idea that they, I guess, wanted to convey was like the same. It just that's how that Ellie would have acted about it, I guess. You know, even though she felt the same way, and whereas Bella Ramsey, this is how she chose to act it out, which is just a little bit more obvious how she feels, and I think that's fine. Okay. I think I like both ultimately, but for me, I do just like, I guess, I don't know. At least for how I'm hoping the show will go, I like that we kind of just have a better understanding how Ellie feels about it.
I mean, it makes it clearer that you know, like if you're just a show viewer going into season 2, you will not be surprised how things turn out because they've stripped away any and all nuance and put everything directly in your face.
Yeah.
I mean,
more or less.
What's his name being like, Ellie, you're a violent person, just like me. I'm a violent person. Like that wasn't in the game.
Right.
And I think like you don't need to be told that. I don't know. It's whatever.
In the game, you definitely don't, because at that point, Ellie has killed people, and I think you've even killed people as Ellie. So it's different in the game, and I do hate that they feel the need to necessarily like tell us like they did in the thing you literally just quoted. Like it's just like, okay, we don't really need to hear that, especially in 5 minutes when we're about to see it. Like but yeah.
People remember dialogue, I guess.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, and they'll have a handy flashback for season 2 when things go really bad.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, you know what? I would say the show's good. It's not as good as the game, but it is good. 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
sorry. Infinite scale. Like a 1. Like a 1.5. I don't know.
Yeah, on the infinite scale, I think I give it a 2. Yeah. Maybe a 3. I do like it a lot. I do feel like the last episode, when Joel is kind of going through the place, I don't necessarily don't like it, but I do agree that I think I liked it more in the game. I just think there's no way they could have gotten around that because you were just in control of someone doing these things. And it's like, no matter how you felt about it, you sort of had to go through with these things. And I think even at the end, when it's you talking to Marlene, it's like you realize you have no choice but to like pull the trigger to progress it. Or maybe I'm mixing that up with another game or something, but just stuff like that, like the player agency part of it. And then even on the other side of that, the thing that makes you care about Ellie a lot more is the fact that you're there literally protecting her the whole time, and then also getting to play as her at some point. So it all, I feel like they were never going to beat that. You just can't.
Well,
you can't
They could have.
Hello? Oh,
Hey,
my mic like unplugged.
they could have smartly done it. I mean, they could have done it the way that movies do it or TV shows do it, where you grow a connection to the characters through watching them interact a lot. And I think they did as much of that stuff as they could. But yeah, it was never going to be as strong as the game with the amount of time, the amount of episodes that they committed to it. And hearing that they're going to break season or game 2 up into like multiple seasons is interesting, because they could have done that with game 1 and probably been a lot more successul, in my opinion, at getting the feeling across. So
I agree, especially with how much time they waste. Well, wasted isn't appropriate to say, but how much time they spent doing other things like the well, really most of the episodes you're just kind of not all over the place in a bad way, but you're spending a lot of time with not Joel and Ellie, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if they were wanting to do that, why didn't they just make the season longer, or be willing to break it up to where we spent like a season getting to know them and then a season sort of like wrapping things up for the first game, and then but I assume they just weren't sure how it would go, and didn't know if they're going to get another season, so maybe that's why they tried to. But it's almost like in that case, I wish they would have given us a little more time with them, because the moments like the episode where like she is spending a lot of time telling the jokes and then finally gets him with one at the end and stuff, like that was the episode where I sort of started to believe it. And it's like, okay, like a lot got done in this episode and they're like subtly building their relationship. Cool. But then by the time we get to the final episode and Joel is like, yeah, you and my daughter really would have got along, and like all the stuff he is saying at the end, it's just like, you didn't nail this at all. I do not believe this. Like this, it's not an actor performance thing. It's just y'all didn't build this properly. Like, I wish I believed this right now. I don't. Like,
no, I completely agree. I was thinking the exact same thing when that was occurring, which is that, okay, you in no way have spent the requisite amount of time to develop these these characters together in this way. Like, they went from not liking each other at all to kind of liking each
tolerating each other,
to basically being best friends in the course of like 2 to 3 episodes. And it's like, all right, well, fair enough. They did what they made
and
their
even
choices.
like right, and even like when whatever's happening when they go to his brother's place. And he's like kind of having a breakdown because he's sort of worried about like fucking up and losing Ellie. Even that is like kind of believable. It's like he doesn't want to fuck up again. And like, even if it's not a like, oh, we believe that he cares about her this much yet, it's like he does not want this little girl to die because of him, regardless. If it's like he just doesn't want that on his hands anymore. He's like, And that was totally believable. And then even right after that, when he gets injured and Ellie's like kind of having to like obviously worry and take care of him, and like, that's all believable too. But even all that being said, what the heck? I don't know why my mic keeps it's like disconnecting. I don't know. Anyway, I don't feel like they earned what they tried to play off at the end at all, sadly.
Yeah, it needed more time. It needed more time for sure. And it sounds like they're going to take a lot more time in season 2, which is interesting. And they're not going to adapt season 2 like 1-to-1 with the game the way they did. They're going to spend a lot more time kind of in between story beats in the game, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with all this stuff. I just wish they had kind of done it in the first one as well.
So I agree. But that being said, there's a lot of, a lot of cool things can happen in season 2, and they could do a lot of, like they could win me back over for sure and like really nail it. And all that being said, I'm very interested to see. And so I guess just like full spoilers for Last of Us 2, in case somebody listening to this is just like, I don't know anything about that. I'm about to spoil some shit. I'm really interested to see if they're gonna kill Joel like episode 1 or like
Yeah.
towards the end of the first season. If they're gonna fuck around a lot and like build up what's going on with characters post episode 1 or part 1. And
I saw some people saying that they would like to see the story told chronologically. Because the thing with
what does that mean?
The thing with The Last of Us 2 is that they spend a lot of time jumping forward and backwards in time.
When? I can't really remember.
Like every chapter there's at least a couple of flashbacks to like pre Joel's death, where you see
so like when they go to the museum and stuff,
like when they go to the museum, or when they like their fights, or them disagreeing, like different conversations they've had, them making up, like all that stuff. I think it has a lot of narrative weight, but I'd like to see more of it kind of told at the beginning of season 2, so you really get more time to build an attachment between those two characters. You know what I mean?
It would be interesting if we get to see all of that before his death to try and give his death more weight.
Yeah.
But I will say one of my favorite things about Last of Us Part 2 is not getting the conversation between Joel and Ellie until the literal very end.
Yeah, I agree.
That was like one of the coolest things, because it's something you want the whole game. You want them to just address it, and see how that goes down. And I've said it before here, but it's just like, even if they never would have given it to us, that would have been powerful writing in its own way to not show us that. But I love that they do, and I love when they did, and I kind of hope it plays out that way in the show as well. But I wouldn't mind if instead we unpacked all of that kind of up front and sort of led to the season 2 ending with Joel's death or something, and then it's like, okay, the next season being all about Ellie's like revenge story and that whole journey of where they end up.
Yeah, they could do a lot. They could even make up shit in between 1 and 2 and just run with it. That could be That could be the whole second season. Like, who cares?
Yeah, and then it ends with for sure.
Yeah, I think the show is more interesting when it's adding completely new stuff that's unrelated. So
yeah.
Yep, good show. Looking forward to seeing how they keep it up. We'll see, maybe in a year or 2. Which is crazy to think, but
yeah.
So before we get to what we've been playing, I just want to let's just go through some news really quickly. How does that sound?
Sure.
Something different. Off the jump here. R.I.P. to Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick, for those who don't know, common appearance in video games and video game adjacent stuff. Obviously, he was a big part of The Wire, in terms of his like film or TV acting career. Big in The Wire. I think most recently, most people know him from John Wick. He has a great role in John Wick as like what would you call that? Like the manager of the New York hotel.
Yeah, something like right.
Like the concierge.
Right.
Something.
That was
Yeah. Just really good. He's in the Castlevania Netflix series. Most recently,
he is.
Most recently, he's in Destiny.
Oh, really?
Yep, he is Zavala, one of the main guardians of Destiny. A major character, so I don't know how they're going to handle that, but it's he passed away just yesterday, which was very sad. Apparently he was in Lost, which I never watched Lost, so But yeah, terrible. And hopefully his um his family is recovering well from that horrible tragedy. Um Easy transition. Other news right now. Uh have you been keeping up with the Resident Evil 4 reviews?
No, actually, I haven't intentionally. So
Resident Evil 4 remake uh, is basically getting 10 out of 10s across the board.
good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I saw somebody saying that so far for 2023, it's the highest rated release of the year, which is pretty funny. There's a lot of
Yeah,
memes. There's a lot of memes going around about like, oh, what are the best games of 2023? And it's Resident Evil 4 and Metroid Prime.
nice.
Um, which I disagree with because I think Metroid Prime sucks.
Uh huh.
No, that's it. No, no,
I'm not taking no bait.
not taking the bait. All right, all right, all right. I actually think it's okay. I mean, I haven't played. I'm like 3 or 4 bosses in, and I'm like, all right, this is fine. Um, yeah, man, it's crazy to see. Like, I haven't read any of the reviews. I haven't. I was trying to avoid as much of the video content that's out there as possible. But I'm excited. I'm actually really excited. I haven't played it in some years, so I think I'm primed and ready for another run through Resident Evil 4. Even if it's really similar, I think I'll like Dead Space. I mean, I think I'll still really enjoy it. So
Yeah, me and Marcel were just talking about yesterday how I am interested to go in completely blind. I have no concept of anything about Resident Evil 4 other than the main character and President's daughter.
you've never played Resident Evil 4? Did we talk about this?
We've briefly talked about that, like literally, like I said I hadn't, and you're like, "Oh, cool."
Fuck.
And I was like, "Yep."
I did not give
That
that
was it.
I did not give that the appropriate amount of disbelief, but that is crazy. Yeah, you're in for a treat. I mean, I think you should play both, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what you said last time. You're
but,
like, you could
I
probably
mean,
play
yeah.
the first one, enjoy it a lot, and then the new one and enjoy it just as much.
I'm curious. I'm really curious to see how intense the differences are. But yeah, I mean, then that's enough we'll say about that. Because what, we're like 7 days away from release or something.
Oh, I thought it was out.
What? No, brother, no.
I mean, I have no idea. It's just so much YouTube
Yeah,
content for it was popping up. I just assumed it was out.
no. Next Friday. Next
Oh,
Friday.
okay.
So we'll talk about it. More on that when it releases on the 24th of March. Some other quick news hits because there's some interesting stuff happening. 5 hours ago, there's reports that the Counter-Strike 2 trademark was filed by Valve.
Gross.
This is from a report by PC Games In. The letter in. Is it Games In or Games In? You know?
You know.
Anyway, Counter-Strike 2. What an interesting. There's already been what, 3 Counter-Strikes, right? There's actually been way
At least.
more if you count expansion packs. If you count expansion packs, there's been way more. Cuz you've got Counter-Strike and then oh fuck. What was the first expansion pack called? Damn it. It's killing me. Wasn't there like a global No, Global Offensive is the new one. What was the
Source.
Condition Zero? That's what I was thinking of. So Condition Zero was the first expansion. So Counter-Strike 1 in the year 2000. Then Condition Zero a whole 4 years later. And then weirdly, the same year as Condition Zero, they made Source, which was a remake of original Counter-Strike in the Source engine. That's pretty strange. That's a strange... I forgot that those were that close.
I still can't believe all those Dark Souls games came out so close together. That's still fucking with me when I go to bed at night. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
We really got Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, and then Dark Souls 3 back to back to back. What the fuck?
Yeah, 1 year apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's already been a year since Elden Ring and nothing. Yeah.
That's all we need. I'm good. I'm still playing it.
How Global Offensive? Just guess what year that came out. Just guess based on your feeling, based on vibes alone. Tell me
2011.
Okay, you're actually pretty close. 2012.
Nice.
It's already been 10 years.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dude, that game still
they can
feels
just let
new.
it die, dude. Yeah, it's all good.
No. First of all, no. Second of all, that game still feels new when I think about it. Like Counter-Strike.
Does Half-Life still feel new?
No. Because it's old.
Yeah, so is Counter-Strike.
But no, you don't understand, man. Like the way like online shooters have gone, especially after free to play like became the bigger thing. Like, I mean, think about it. Like Counter-Strike Go never stopped being a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, but Half-Life 2 had a finite life in some sense. I mean, people still play it. I still go back and play it, right? But like, it had a finite life. Counter-Strike Go is like still going. It'd be like I think we talked about this, making a sequel to League of Legends. It's just like, how would that even be possible? That game's still going, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. That game should also just die, though.
Yeah, they need to execute that.
They're in the exact same category for me. Shut it down. Let those people go. Let them be free.
Release those people back into the world. Catch and release.
Yeah, just it's time to stop.
Yeah. You've harmed enough relationships at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's a matter of time before they make another Counter-Strike. For sure. It just has to happen eventually, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, they should. I don't like Go that much. I mean, it's okay.
Same.
I was a Source person, but I know people who were 1.6 people and Condition Zero people did not like Source either. So, I mean, maybe we'll just never be happy.
I'm fine with that one.
I say we in terms of the global, the royal we, the we's of the world who like Counter-Strike.
But who's actually asking?
Dude,
for this?
you're into Ready or Not. You're a hop and a jump away from being a Counter-Strike fan. You're almost there, dude. You're gonna get there.
I don't see the crossover at all.
You're gonna get into tactical shooters. It's gonna happen. It'll be Counter-Strike.
I think y'all are way more likely to get me into Tarkov than into a Counter-Strike game.
Jesus, man. At least people in Counter-Strike don't cheat in actual matches anymore. Tarkov is like a fucking
I don't believe that.
Now. They made it really hard at a certain point to cheat a lot in Counter-Strike, like especially in ranked matches, but yeah, it became less of a thing. I mean, the truth is that people who play Counter-Strike are just weird sickos who have gamed the recoil in a way that means that they can headshot you instantaneously and you have no chance, and it's infuriating. But at least it's not like Tarkov where you lose everything if you die.
How do you feel about Diablo 4?
I have not even paid attention to it, to be honest. When that game comes out, I will probably buy it. But
not gonna play the beta.
That's not saying a lot for me.
It's an open beta, dude.
Dude, I don't need to play the beta. You know what I mean? I know what it is. It's Diablo 4. I know what it is.
Yeah, what if it's dog shit?
It's not. And honestly, Diablo 3 was kind of dog shit, and I still played a lot of it. So
yeah, that's you're right. Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be
I'll
okay.
probably play it too.
It'll be.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
OSHA's on Game Pass.
Dude, it will. That's a really good point. It will be if the Activision Blizzard merger goes through.
It'll happen.
Which it seems like it is going to.
Yeah, it'll happen. Money is power, and there's a lot of money there.
Yeah, but I mean, more importantly, the only people who are against it are the major competitor. So
right, no, I mean exactly.
Okay, quick news hits. They released new content for noted favorite video game of Chris Crossley, favorite Dark Horse video game of Chris Crossley, Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning.
Really?
They released, as of 20 hours ago, there's a news story where a patch went through, and it's an update for Kingdoms of Amalur that adds a new quest that's like a long quest line, I guess.
Incredible. I genuinely might reinstall it. Still
not played that game.
That's
I intend to, actually. But I say that about a lot of games. I think lastly here for news stories. Did you see this Souls-like Atlas Fallen?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know anything about it.
It apparently had been announced a while ago, but it's from the people who made Deck 13. From Deck 13 is the studio. The people who made The Surge is what I meant to say.
They made Lords of the Fallen.
They made the first Lords of the Fallen, but I do not believe they're making the new game that is titled Lords of the Fallen with no additional title. It's just called Lords of the Fallen again.
I think it's called The Lords of Fallen.
Oh, that sucks if that's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the difference. The is at the beginning now.
That sucks really bad.
Yeah.
So Atlas Fallen is a Souls-like-ish game if they made Souls-likes more like Monster Hunter.
Okay. As in a co-op hunting kind of experience?
I do not know about co-op.
Well, see, that's the only fucking issue with the Surge. And I mean, you kind of like to solo it anyway, so I honestly highly recommend the Surge games to you because they are really good.
I tried the first one and it was okay. I'll probably play the second one. I've decided, but
I think it's on Game Pass.
They're putting a really big emphasis on larger creatures and like a lot of mobility. So like it'd be like if everyone had wasn't that Monster Hunter Rise? Like you rode around in your dog and you got around really quickly and you like everybody had like more acrobatic movement.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like that, and all the creatures are a bit larger. Yeah. And there's like a lot more. They've added like a lot of skills and RPG elements back into it.
What's the like setting? Because like Lords of the Fallen is like fantasy.
I don't think it's in the same universe. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just like, and then the Surge is like futuristic. Everything's technology based.
Oh, it seems like it's more knights, but it's like a different kind of, like a Diablo fantasy kind genre. Of knight, yeah. Big deserts and like, magic desert stuff. I don't know. It does kind of actually remind me of the design of Diablo armor and things like that.
Yeah, that Blizzard kind of flare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They just showed a trailer. It came out, I think, yesterday, and I watched a little bit of it, and it actually looks okay. I'm I'm interested. Like Deck 13, I think is getting better with each game they make.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because I thought Lords of the Fallen was infuriatingly terrible.
It's really bad, yeah.
And then I played the Surge 1 and was like, this is all right. It feels like dog shit, but it's okay. Surge 2
I felt really good.
Surge 2 looks like it feels a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And now this as well again looks even better. So what you been playing, man?
Well, I guess Wild Hearts. I haven't done much since the last time we talked, other than like grind a monster that we already hunted like here or there.
You know what's interesting? Did we talk about Wild Hearts in the last podcast? I think we didn't.
I don't think we've recorded since we got it, right?
I don't think so either. No, I don't think so either. Wild Hearts. Let's talk about it. Tell the people at home what Wild Hearts is, for those who don't know.
It's a Monster Hunter clone. That's just how I feel about it. It's just a Monster Hunter clone, but it's a damn good one.
So what I mean, I know what you mean, but what is being a Monster Hunter clone? What does that entail? Give me what you think are the key features of Monster Hunter that make it clonable.
That's interesting. I guess the set out on a mission, typically co-op focused, set out on a mission to hunt big monster, variety of weapons, breaking parts off of it, collecting the parts to like make new gear. That's pretty much it. The rinse repeat of that loop, sort of a home base, meet up, go out on quest, hunt thing, get parts, make new loot, hunt bigger thing, get its parts, make bigger loot, hunt bigger thing. Like just that, I guess. And this game definitely takes that sort of formula and sort of definitely like adds a lot of their own flavor to it with the building mechanics and then the sort of like skill tree that you have for that, all of that. And then, just how it all sort of works and feels. They clearly have like come into their own with it. Like, even though you can definitely see all the Monster Hunter like foundation kind of where they got this from. But even then it still sort of like feels much more different and it feels good.
You're playing on PS5.
Yeah.
How's that?
Great.
Any performance problems?
I mean, every now and then, it'll be kind of like the frames will dip, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it's totally fine. I'm impressed with it. It's unfortunate, I guess, that like you see the fidelity of the graphics and it's just like pretty mid-tier. It's definitely not like up to newer standards of video games at all in terms of the graphics, and so it's sad to see that and then also see it not run well on like high-end hardware. It's just sad because you can tell a lot of love went into making this game and they wanted it to be good. So it sucks that they don't have the resources or didn't have the time to both make it look better and make it perform better. Because if they had the resources and the time, this could be like seriously like an insane video game, and it just is really fucking good instead because they just totally nailed the gameplay. I feel like it just feels fucking awesome and is really satisfying to do the things. I think the world design is really well done. Traversal is like 8 or 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but the more little gadgets we unlock to traverse the world, the more I sort of understand. It's like, oh, it's just going to get easier and easier as we go. So it's like maybe it'll be 10 out of 10 by the time. There's a little thing you can craft in the open world that you haven't seen yet that is going to blow your fucking mind. Do you want me to tell you, or you just want to wait?
Sure. I mean, whatever.
You can craft and spawn a little General Grievous like wheel bike vehicle thing.
Sick.
It's like exactly that.
That's
and you can
amazing.
just like cruise at like super speed over around the map and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean it's definitely Monster Hunter in that you go out and you hunt big shit and you take those parts and craft new weapons to go and hunt big shit. But they've added a lot around the periphery that makes it interesting. There's a building, like a Fortnite style building mechanic, and it literally works just like Fortnite where it like
Yep.
conjures shit out of nowhere. But they have like build combos, so when you like build three boxes on top of each other or three boxes on top of each other side by side, like so two rows of three boxes, it turns into like a giant wall that will like block charging monsters and give you like an opportunity to attack them and get some critical hits in. If you
Yeah.
build like three springs and a tower on top of each other, it turns into a gigantic hammer that then does a lot of damage. And if you hit on certain monsters at certain moments in their attack patterns, it will like do a critical hit and knock them on their ass. Like it's it's really interesting, and it's funny because this is essentially like, you know, best value Monster Hunter, right? Like it's literally like Walmart brand, you know, or like, you know, it's
We have Monster Hunter at home.
exactly like, yeah,
Yeah.
that, or like, you know, you you want fucking Captain Crunch, but you shop at the discount grocery store where they have like, you know, Admiral Munch or something.
The giant bag of it.
Exactly,
Not in a
exactly.
box, and it's really cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's no Rice Krispies. This is puffed rice delish. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a RC Cola.
exactly. Like, but I like it so much more. I've connected with it so much more than recent Monster Hunter games.
I agree 100%.
Which is really shocking for me. Like, I'm really, you and I are playing it pretty much side by side the whole way through. We're like 10 hours in now, and we both really like it.
It feels good. It just is so satisfying. And I think part of it too is they really, from the jump, nail the mobility. Like when I dodge, I feel like I understand my iframes, and then the like sprint dodge where you kind of slide.
Yep.
It's just so clutch. It's like Monster Hunter gives you the like thing where you like, if you're running away from a monster while it like has its sights on you or whatever, you'll like dive and like fall on the ground and like get a bunch of iframes. You know what I'm talking about? The like
yep.
The dive for your life technique. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but it's nowhere near as cool as like a quick little slide that goes really far. Like,
yep.
I don't know. They just straight from the jump nailed the mobility, and that alone makes me feel so much more connected to like my control over the character and what I'm able to do in a fight. Especially in this game, it feels like monsters are really fucking aggressive. And unlike Monster Hunter, don't really take a break as often. Like Monster Hunter monsters will kind of go all out and then gas themselves out and like really be tired. Even not just like, oh, they'll huff and puff for like 5 seconds and you can wail on them. Like they'll literally be exhausted and just not attack as often, and maybe even attack slower. Like you can tell when they've sort of used all their energy, and it doesn't necessarily feel like that happens in this game until literally it's about to die, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's out of gas. Like, okay. And I kind of do and don't like that. It makes it harder when you're learning the fight to perform well, because it's just kind of constantly coming at you. But yeah, once you know what you're doing, you have enough mobility and like control of your character to sort of like consistently stay out of the way and get in good attacks. And yeah, I like all the weapons too, with the exception of like the hammer. And I haven't tried the cannon or the claw blade or whatever, but I like all the weapons except for like the hammer. I think they're all kind of fun in their own way.
Yeah, I haven't tried as many as you have, but I the katana, which is what they start you with for the tutorial portion, is really satisfying. It's got interesting mechanics. Every weapon has like multiple different charged forms and charged attacks, and there's a lot of variety in how you kind of want to interact with the weapons. Even the katana, which historically, like in Monster Hunter, is a pretty straightforward weapon, they've added some layers here that give it additional depth, and everything feels really satisfying to pull off. Even the bow, like I've actually taken a liking to the bow a lot, which is shocking because I've never felt interested in ranged combat in one of the Monster Hunter games before. The bow has like multiple forms, and each form can be charged, and each time you charge it, it changes the type of attack you do and those attacks interact with each other. So like, a specific form that shoots arrows really quickly that doesn't do a lot of damage, those arrows then stick in the monster, and if you hit them with a charged up version of the other form's attack, then they all detonate, and it does like a bunch of multipliers of damage. It's fascinating. So yeah, I think they really nailed it. This is a Team Ninja game, by the way. Koei Tecmo Team Ninja joint, which I believe they did. Or no, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm thinking of this is a Koei Tecmo EA game. Excuse me, which was very surprising. But yes, this is the company that did. What was the other Monster Hunter clone they did that I think we even might have played a little bit together?
Tokiden, and I've never played it.
You've never played it? Okay. I've definitely played Tokiden before. I think I played it with Merced. I thought, you know what? It must have been Merced and Shran.
So I'm looking now, and I didn't realize this, but the actual development team is the Dynasty Warrior team.
Yes, Omega Force. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And so yeah, they did Tokiden and Tokiden 2.
Yes, which I think we're okay. If you liked Monster Hunter games, it was like more of that. They've been on a good streak lately. Like people really liked Dragon Quest Heroes. People really liked the Attack on Titan games.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 is really good, by the way.
Yep. I didn't play it, but I remember I played the first one and really liked it. Persona 5 Strikers is amazing.
That's what I hear. I couldn't get into it. I played it like 10 minutes and I was like, yeah, I like the Berserk one a lot more. And then I downloaded that again. Started playing that one.
Yep, the Berserk one's pretty cool.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. There's just some. It's interesting to see this studio really nail this formula in this way, because I think, dude, they made Winback. Crazy.
Apparently, yeah. 1999.
Dude.
Nintendo 64.
I played it on PS2, the PS2 version. Holy fuck, that game rules.
I believe it.
You gotta play it, bro. Don't just believe it. Yeah, Wild Hearts, good game. I got it as part of EA Play, so I'm playing it on the PC. It runs about as bad as everybody says. I'm ignoring it.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring it, but it does dip frames a lot, especially when shit gets busy. But luckily most of the fighting portion, it's easy. Like you don't really feel like you're being hamstringed by performance issues most of the time. So it's pretty easy to ignore until you're traversing, and then you get like a spike of bad frames, and you're like, oh shit,
and fall,
like trash, or fall down somewhere. So, but good game, Wild Hearts. We're gonna keep playing. I think maybe later today.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting on after this probably. I need some food, but yeah.
I do as well. Speaking of Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja, because I don't know why I get these games confused in my brain a lot, even though they're nothing alike, but they came out around the same time and are both published by Koei Tecmo. Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Have you played it yet?
No, I don't have very much interest in it.
Really? Fuck. All right. I haven't either, but I really want to. I downloaded it on my Xbox, so maybe I'll play it before we record again. That way I can be the one to talk about it because I'm interested in it. I see people like praising it, like saying it's better than Neo 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
Which was made by the same people. So
yeah. I've seen people playing it. I definitely haven't seen anybody praising it, but
really, oh man, even the reviews are all pretty strong. Like, apparently, it also runs like shit on the PC, but people really like it. Yeah, people like it. What else you got?
Not much, really. We have covered pretty much everything I had on my mind, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that may be the case for me as well. I downloaded Need for Speed Unbound. I intend to play that.
Oh, yeah?
We played a little bit more Ready or Not. That game continues to be really good.
Yeah, I like the modded maps too, actually.
Yeah. There's a Steam sale going on, so we may pick up some stuff from that. I've been kind of trolling through it. Oh, before I forget, we'll wrap on this. This will be the last thing we cover. I have been slowly picking my way through Atomic Heart.
Okay.
I have gotten to the first major open world section of that game. It's all right. That game's okay. I don't know. It's not that good.
Hell yeah. I'm glad I didn't download it.
It actually continues to get worse, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody stopped playing it. Merced, Tran, and somebody else all started it when it dropped on Game Pass, and none of them kept playing. So I was like, hell yeah. No, I don't have to.
Yeah. It's okay. It's fine. It's like the narrow corridor, like BioShock type design, I think is something that more games could steal. And I didn't mind it. I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. And then as soon as I got into the open world part, all of the enjoyment that I had been feeling drained away and became replaced with really janky open world movement. I got stuck in the environment at least 3 times.
Oof.
There's a part where like you come across like a, I don't even know how to say it, like enemy patrols like out in the world, and they call for reinforcements. And it's just not that kind of game. I don't know. And they try to shoehorn in some stealth stuff. It sucks really bad. So, but I'm determined.
Well, I'm rooting for you.
I'm nothing if not annoyingly determined to play through games that I do not like.
Makes your opinion more valid.
It does. I'm worldly. I've experienced all of the highs and lows that the medium of video games has to offer, and I'm reporting back that we should stop. We've done it all. We should call it. We should call it here.
GG, well played.
All the people who are going to make video games should just connect with HBO and make TV shows instead.
Well, what about Elden Ring DLC? We can still have that, right?
No, dude, just make it a TV show.
No.
Think about how good the Elden Ring TV show would be.
I don't.
Imagine, dude, fucking what's his name? The guy who ran the HBO show, Craig Mazin or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine he gets his grubby little mitts on Elden Ring or any of the Souls games, and he's like, wow, I really just felt a connection. So naturally, all of the lore that's meticulously hidden in the environment, we made it really direct dialogue.
Have you watched Chernobyl?
No.
I did, and I liked it. Like recently, this week.
Oh, really? You watched it because you liked the other show? Or no, you were just curious about it?
Yeah, I think I was just curious. I was looking for something else to watch, I guess, and it had been on my list for a while, and so I was just like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, watch an episode, and yeah, it hooked me. Watch the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I recommend it, honestly. I think they do a really good job, not only of just kind of laying out a rough sort of Sparks notes of what kind of happened back then, but just the stuff they show is all really well done. I think it's cool getting to see it all. They did a good job. I like it way more than Last of Us, actually. Yeah, that show more.
More. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that I've like had on the list forever and just keep pushing back and. All right. Thanks, Crossley.
Yeah.
Good catching up.
For sure.
We'll be back. Peace.
Peace.